Hey everyone, Emmanuel here. Another fight podcast based on a conversation I had with always students. I mean, I'm because I'm always talking to you guys, and we're discussing some really deep concepts many times, and it inspires me in different ways. I mean, I hope you guys realize that it actually causes me to look deeper at the things that I know and why we're doing stuff. And let's just cut to the chase. So, talking to a student about um, training in such a way that you have the full experience when you train. So it's not training in like little bits, like bits and parts, but actually taking training as an experience the experience should be full, much like life, right? Like if we say we talk about life, right? We always template against life. We want in the end of it to have a full experience, like to live a life that's full of as one piece, full of experience. Now, that's difficult if you don't know the purpose. And the purpose is what I love about that thing is what's the purpose of this? It's really never ending question. It will when people ask me what's the purpose of a certain drill or purpose of a certain way of training, I realize it changes often, right? It's really a never ending question. Like, what's your purpose? And it's quite deep question. And you might have a good answer, and then that answer might change. I mean, it's really a never ending answer. So, if you want a full experience, whether it's in training and in life, you need to really dig for the purpose. And that purpose should be like an endless, if you do it right, it's like an endless source of wonder to me. It's like a never ending story. I think one of the wonderful things I do is I look at people in different cultures and different places and places I visit, and I try to understand their life. And it's always an endless amount of wonder for me to see how different cultures live their life, and it's very inspiring and it's beautiful. So that's one way of thinking of it. Now, then you start to get into some of the deeper secrets of life, the deeper secrets of training, right? And people always like the word secret because it's like so covert, but it's actually not at all. It's right out there. Um, so when you talk about like a secret to life, I often see people training and they say that I'm trying to discover myself. The discovery training is discovery, and I'm like, yeah. I mean, I definitely that was at some point in my life. It was discovery for sure. Let's change the context and say a musician. If I was a musician, right, and some of you follow me on social media, see I've recently started a musical instrument, and it's really because I suck at it. Like it's really challenging for me. I am not musically inclined at all, but I'm trying, and it really is difficult. So for me, it's like a monumental task. So I'm working through it, but is really am I really trying when I'm studying a music or any musician? Are they really the ultimate thing for them to discover music that's been played? To really dig back and just try to discover all the music that's been played, or is really the purpose or the main secret to life creation? Um, and then we have to template that against our training. I mean, are we all coming to training to discover Sistema? Yeah, maybe originally, or we discovered it somehow, obviously, but then the real secret to Sistema, a real secret to anything, is creation. I mean, that's that's creation is where it's at. What are you creating? How do you push music forward without creating something new or trying, right? So and making it your own, right? This is very important. So creation is really where it's at, so to speak, when it comes to secrets, right? You're creating all we need to be creating all the time. That's how we push something forward, right? Yes, of course, discovery is great. I mean, and it's a starting point. But as you go on, the real secret is to create, right? And all the best things I've ever done have been on the creative side, creating and creating something new that's based on my experiences, based on my understandings, right? This is very, very powerful. This way, it always stays relevant because society is changing. So we need to stay relevant and you need to constantly be creating. So the secret to life is not really discovery. I mean, don't go, and you could spend so much time trying to discover yourself. Like, just create it. Create the person you want to be, and it's so much. It's less work, and it's better at the end. It's a better thing. Like, so you could spend a lifetime trying to discover yourself and maybe never do that, but you could spend half that time and create the person that you want to be, or create the martial arts, or create whatever it is that you want to be, and it's so much easier because you're creating it. So something to think about. Okay, and the last point that conversation got on with the conversation I got onto is about school. And you often hear this metaphor that life is like school, right? It's and training is like school, and we're learning lessons, and that's you go, you learn lessons, and that's how you learn, right? Um, I'll disagree with that. Okay, it can be, but I'll disagree with it, and I'll explain why. Um, a school is a place where you go to learn something that you don't know. Okay, and when you learn it, you've learned it. Now you go into life and you go into real world, and you need to apply what you've learned. Okay, a school seems to me like a place where people keep going back to reaffirm that they know it. But you've learned it. If you've learned something, you've learned it. It's yours. The only thing you need to do now is to go into the real world and affirm it. Not prove it, affirm it. Proving is something different. Affirm it. So if it's not like right or wrong, I mean, there's tons of things that don't always work. Like my coach in football used to always, every play was a touchdown. We didn't score a touchdown every play, guys. I don't know what kind of team you played for. But so is like think about that, because it's a very subtle difference. Do when you go to train, like you're all doing Sistema, or you're training in some martial art of some sort, is your training, is the only reason you go back to school is to reaffirm that you know what you're doing? If that's it, it's wrong. You already know what you're doing. You've heard it. The only thing you need to do now is take what is conceptual and make it like literal, like for real. So this is an important distinction. This is why I say life is not a school. School is where you go somewhere to learn something that you don't know. And then life is where you go validate that, is where you go experience it. So we don't need any more concepts. You have lots of concepts, but you need to have experiences. You need to go apply this. So life is a place where we live. Like we go and the things that we know, or the things that we've learned, we go apply them. This is really, really powerful. It's not a school, right? And ask yourself in your training, are you just going back and saying, every time I went to my training classes, and I trained, and the only thing is to say, see, I know how to breathe, or see, I know how to move. But you already know how to do that. You're just going to prove it back to yourself every time? Imagine going to school, you once you finish university and you have a degree, or you have a PhD, whatever you graduate with, you don't keep going back to reaffirm that you know it. You've already known it. You already know it. Now you got to go in the real world and apply it. The application is what you need. And it's not a smooth application. It's not. It's just, but you need to validate it, apply it, whatever you want to call it. But that's life. You don't keep going back to university saying, see, I know. See, I know. See, I know. You already know. You graduated. You know. Now go apply it. And what you've discovered, now start creating. Like, do something. That's the beauty of it. So I'll disagree that life is not a school. School is a place you go where you don't know something. Once you know it, or once you learn it, now you just got to go apply it. You don't need a whole lot. You just need to learn something. Now it's up to you. Okay? There's an old phrase where I heard a long time ago that somebody said, he goes, your martial arts doesn't work for you. You work for your martial art. Okay, you have to put in the work. Nothing goes this way. It's this way. So no system works for you. You work for it. You have to work to get its benefits. It doesn't. It gives you everything, but you have to work. It's like people love coming to class and knowledge goes from the teacher to the student. But that's just one way. You need to now work, because that's just a concept. You now have to work for that. You have to figure that out. It has to go the other way. So really ask yourself, why are you training? I mean, what is it? It's a school, and you've got knowledge. Great. Now you got that knowledge. Now you got to go into your life and find find the valid, not valid, I don't see validation, not a right word, but take it from a concept to more practical. So that's what life is about. It's not a continued school where you're learning a series of lessons. That's not how I see it at all. And when you go to training, try to try not to spend time discovering yourself. Try to spend time creating yourself. Create a new self. This is very important, right? This way you're always able to adapt to change. People don't change. That's their problem, is they don't change because they don't know how to create. They don't have an idea of who they want to be in the next 5 years, right? Create, guys. Be into creation. Creation is the real secret to life. It's not discovering. Discovering is a little different, okay? I hope that helps, guys, a lot in these in this 10-minute little talk. But I hope it's a benefit. And like I said, our conversations always go somewhere. They inspire me, and they help me understand what I should be talking about, and trying to make the training very relevant to your life and to your continued training as well, so that you're not seeing it only one way, but that you have full experience of training in System. All right. Take care, guys. All the best, and I will see you soon. Keep training.